You've been affirming your dreams, repeating positive declarations each day, doing your best to rewire the patterns deep inside your mind. Maybe you've started to believe in the power of your words, to feel a spark of change from the affirmations you crafted in the last episode. But despite all that, some days still feel heavy. Doubt creeps in. A single comment from someone else can shake your energy. Or maybe the results you expected just haven't shown up yet, and you're silently wondering, is something wrong with me? Or am I missing something? If you've ever felt that quiet frustration, that internal contradiction between knowing what to do and feeling stuck anyway, then this episode is exactly for you. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on some of the biggest mental blocks that hold people back, even when they've been applying the law of attraction. We'll talk about what really stops your energy from flowing and how you can keep your vibration high even in the middle of uncertainty. You see, there's a big myth out there that says once you understand the law of attraction, life just starts falling into place effortlessly, that everything you want just rushes toward you because you said some affirmations or visualized it a few times. But that's not how this works. The law of attraction is not a magic trick or a shortcut. It's a universal principle that reflects your energy, your consistency, and your emotional alignment, not just your words, but the depth behind them. And in truth, one of the most misunderstood parts of this process is this. It's not just about staying positive. It's about staying centered, staying stable. Because in real life, energy fluctuates. Emotions come and go. You can't avoid negativity forever. What matters is how quickly you can recover, how well you can recalibrate. That's what separates people who manifest from those who keep chasing. So here's the real promise of this video. By the end, you'll know exactly how to handle doubt without letting it destroy your progress. You'll have practical tools to reset your mind when fear sneaks in, when impatience starts whispering that it's not working, or when outside energy tries to pull you back into your old patterns. You'll learn how to protect your peace without needing to hide from life, how to face resistance without losing your vibration, and how to show up day after day as someone who trusts in their bliss. Vision even when nothing around you seems to confirm it yet. This is the kind of emotional mastery that makes manifestation sustainable. Because at its core, the law of attraction responds to the energy you live in, not just the moments you feel high, but the moments you choose not to fall low. It's easy to feel aligned when things go well, but true transformation happens when you can feel empowered while nothing seems to be changing. When your inner state becomes so solid that no outer circumstance can define your mood, your belief, or your direction. That is the level where energy becomes magnetic, where your desires start moving toward you because you've stopped chasing, doubting, or questioning your worth. So take a deep breath. This episode is your safe space to get real with yourself, to stop pretending you're okay when you're not, and to stop blaming yourself for feeling down sometimes. You are human, not a robot of positivity. And the goal here is not to suppress your emotions, but to become emotionally intelligent enough to guide them. We'll go deep into practical techniques that will help you recognize energetic blocks, dissolve mental resistance, and reconnect with your natural power. These tools are not fluff or abstract concepts. They are tested, grounded, and rooted in emotional awareness. Because the truth is, the law of attraction only works when you do. When you shift, reality shifts. When you regulate your inner world, the outer world responds. And today, you're going to learn how to do just that, how to regulate, how to stabilize, and how to rise. Welcome to episode 8. Let's begin by facing one of the most silent but powerful blocks on the path of manifestation: self-doubt, and the doubt in the process itself. You may know what the law of attraction teaches. You've heard that your thoughts become things. that your energy attracts your experience, and that what you believe is what you receive. But even with all that understanding, there comes a quiet voice inside your head that sometimes whispers questions like, is this really working? Or, what if I'm just fooling myself? Or even worse, maybe this works for others, but not for me. If those thoughts have ever passed through your mind, you're not alone. In fact, this is one of the most common obstacles people face, especially those who have been on the journey for a while, but haven't yet seen the results they deeply desire. Let's be clear about something. Doubt is not your enemy. Doubt is a signal. It's your inner self asking for deeper alignment, for proof, for clarity. But when left unchallenged, doubt becomes a block. It becomes the very wall between you and the reality you're trying to create. Here's what most people don't realize. The law of attraction is not simply about what you say. It's about what you believe while you're saying it. You can repeat affirmations all day long, but if your subconscious is still asking, do I really deserve this? Then the signal you're sending is mixed, and the universe responds to the strongest, most consistent vibration, not just the words, but the energy behind them. Self-doubt often sounds like this: I'm not good enough to receive that. I don't have what it takes. Why would someone like me attract something like that? These thoughts, while they may seem harmless or even realistic, are extremely powerful in shaping your vibration. Because every time you question your worth, you tune out of alignment. You reduce your signal. And when your energy is inconsistent, your reality reflects that same inconsistency. It's not about punishment. It's about reflection. The law of attraction reflects not only what you ask for, but also how you feel about yourself when you ask. So when you say, I want a loving relationship, but deep down you think, I'm not lovable, your energy contradicts your intention. The process gets blocked, not by fate or failure, but by internal resistance. The same thing happens when you start wondering, maybe this law of attraction stuff just doesn't work. That thought in itself is an energetic shift. Because every time you question the validity of the principle, you begin to vibrate in a space of disbelief. And here's the catch. The law of attraction is always working, even when you think it's not. That means even the doubt that says, it's not working, is being matched. And so you experience more situations that appear to confirm that doubt. It's a loop, a cycle of energetic reflection. So how do you break free? You begin by acknowledging the doubt without identifying with it. You recognize that doubt is just a thought, not a truth. You don't have to fight it. You just have to question it with deeper awareness. When a doubt comes up like, I don't deserve this, try asking, says who? Where did that belief come from? Who taught you that? And more importantly, is it true? Most of our self-doubt comes from old programming, childhood messages, past rejections, or repeated disappointments. But just because something happened before doesn't mean it has to define what comes next. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to question your old identity. And you are allowed to believe in more than what you've seen so far. The law of attraction responds to the now version of you. Not your past, not your failures, not the identity you've outgrown, but the version of you that chooses to align, believe, and show up differently today. That's where your power lives. You can begin shifting your doubt by getting curious. Ask yourself, what evidence do I actually have that I'm not worthy? You'll often find there's none, or that the evidence you've been using is outdated, from years ago, from a time when you didn't know what you know now. You've grown, you've learned, you've shown up, and most importantly, you're still here. That means something. That means your desire is still alive. And if it's alive within you, it's possible for you. Doubt also fades when you stop needing everything to show up instantly. Most people feel doubt because they're watching the clock. They think if it hasn't arrived yet, then it's not coming. But manifestation is not on your schedule. It's on your frequency. When you stop focusing on the when and start focusing on the who you are being, how you are feeling, what you are embodying, everything changes. Doubt disappears when you reconnect to trust. Trust is not passive. It is a daily decision, a deliberate practice. Trust says, even if I don't see it yet, I know it's on the way. Trust says, my work is to keep aligning, not to keep stressing. And trust says, my energy is enough. You do not have to be perfect to receive. You just have to be consistent in your belief that you're worthy to receive. And that starts by replacing the inner voice that says, I can't, with one that says, I'm learning. Or better yet, I am becoming. This shift is powerful because it stops the loop of doubt and starts a new loop one of compassion, presence, and energetic strength. The truth is, you are more ready than you think. The very fact that you are listening to this right now means your consciousness is evolving. You are not stuck. You are not behind. You are on a journey. And like every journey, there will be moments of question. But in those moments, you get to choose again. You get to return to the core truth that you are enough, that your energy matters, and that the universe responds not to perfection, but to alignment. So the next time a doubt arises, smile at it, breathe through it, and remind yourself, this thought does not define me. I choose belief. And from that belief, new realities will begin to unfold. That is how you overcome the first and greatest mental block on this path, by choosing again and again to believe in yourself and in the invisible forces working in your favor. That is the real work of the law of attraction. And now you're ready to go deeper. Fear is one of the most deceptive and powerful barriers on the path of conscious creation. It doesn't always show up as panic or anxiety. Sometimes it disguises itself as hesitation, delay, or endless overthinking. But underneath that pause is a subtle message from your subconscious that says, what if it doesn't work? Or even more secretly, what if it does? You see, fear wears many masks. There is fear of failure, which tells you that if you try and don't succeed, you'll feel embarrassed, ashamed, or confirmed in your worst beliefs about yourself. But there is also fear of success, which tells you that if things actually work out, you might lose control, face bigger responsibilities, or no longer relate to the people around you. There's fear of change, the idea that if you really allow this new version of your life to take shape, everything comfortable and familiar might shift. And most of all, there's the fear of being seen, the fear of being judged, the fear that if you shine too brightly, someone will try to dim your light. These fears are not random. They come from real experiences, real conditioning, and real emotional wounds. Let's start with the fear of failure. Imagine someone who's always dreamed of starting their own business. They have the idea, the passion, and even the resources to begin. But instead of launching, they keep researching, planning, tweaking, waiting for the perfect moment. Months go by, then years. And deep down, they're not waiting for readiness. They're avoiding rejection. They're afraid that if they put themselves out there and it doesn't work, they'll have to face the painful belief that maybe they're not good enough. That fear becomes a protective mechanism. It says, stay safe, don't risk the pain. But the truth is, the greater pain is never trying, because you can recover from failure. But it's much harder to live with regret. Then there's fear of success. This one is sneaky, because on the surface, it sounds like something everyone wants. But real success changes things. It brings attention. It can shift relationships. It forces you to grow. For example, a woman starts applying the law of attraction to improve her finances. She visualizes abundance, affirms her worth, and starts seeing signs of new opportunities. But every time a big offer comes, she talks herself out of it. She says it's too soon, that she's not ready. But underneath that hesitation is a deeper fear. If she accepts the abundance, she might outgrow her social circle. Her family might expect more from her. She might have to let go of her old identity. That fear keeps her in the loop of almost manifesting, but never fully allowing change. 2 is terrifying for many. People say they want a new life, a better reality, a different path. But are they truly ready for the change that comes with it? A man who has been single for years may affirm love every day, visualize his ideal partner, and use the law of attraction to manifest a relationship. But when someone truly loving appears, he backs away. Not because he doesn't want love, but because love would require him to be vulnerable, to communicate, to be seen, to let go of his independence. Change, even when it's good, demands the death of the old, and many people unconsciously fear that loss more than they desire the gain. Finally, let's talk about fear of judgment. This fear stops more dreams than failure ever could. How many people have silenced their voice because they were afraid of what others might say? How many have hidden their gifts, avoided starting a YouTube channel, a podcast, a book, a business, not because they weren't ready, but because they were afraid of criticism? A young man once told me he wanted to share his story online. He had been through hardship, learned deep lessons, and felt a strong pull to inspire others. But every time he tried to record, he heard the voice of an old friend mocking him in his mind. That one imagined judgment was enough to paralyze his expression. Even though hundreds of people could benefit from his message, he let the opinion of one stop him from reaching the many. That is the tragedy of fear. It shrinks the soul into silence. It convinces you to hide. And when you hide, your energy cannot attract what is truly aligned with your expansion. The law of attraction is not just about what you ask for. It's about who you become while waiting for it. And if fear is dictating your actions, you are unconsciously attracting from that vibration. The solution is not to pretend the fear isn't there. It's to meet it with understanding, to question it, to move anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement in spite of it. Begin to ask yourself when fear shows up, what am I really afraid of losing? Is it comfort? Is it familiarity? Is it approval? And then ask, what might I gain if I go beyond this fear? Often, what's on the other side of fear is exactly what you've been asking for. You must also remember this: most people who judge you are too afraid to follow their own dreams. They're not actually looking at you. They are projecting their unhealed wounds onto your bravery. And their opinions are not a reflection of your worth. They are a reflection of their own limitations. The more you shine, the more those with dimmed lights will react. That's normal, but you are not here to stay small. You are here to rise, and your rise will require you to let go of needing everyone to understand you, to clap for you, to approve of you. Freedom is not found in external validation. It is found in self-trust. The more you trust yourself, the less you fear the noise. The more you trust your vision, the less you fear the unknown. And the more you trust the process, the less you fear the time it takes. Every fear you face becomes fuel. Every moment of courage expands your energy. And every step you take, despite fear, aligns you closer with your desires. This is the real work of transformation. Not waiting for fear to disappear, but becoming someone who moves anyway. And in that movement, everything changes. You begin to vibrate in a frequency that invites miracles. Not because you force them, but because you are brave enough to receive them. So whatever fear is present for you right now, honor it, but don't obey it. Let it speak, but don't let it lead. You are not here to live in reaction. You are here to create. And your power begins the moment you choose to act not in fear, but through it. That is the frequency of freedom. That is the alignment that moves mountains. And that is exactly what you're stepping into now. Let's now talk about one of the most emotionally exhausting challenges on the journey of manifestation: impatience and the heavy feeling of being stuck. This is the moment when you've been doing everything right. You've visualized. You've affirmed. You've felt the emotions. You've shown up every day with hope. But the results still haven't shown up in the physical world. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and slowly your faith starts to waver. Your excitement begins to fade, and that spark of belief you had at the beginning starts turning into frustration. You ask yourself, why is it taking so long? What am I doing wrong? Am I missing something? Or even worse, maybe this is never going to happen for me. These are some of the most common inner thoughts people experience when they begin to lose patience with the process. And here's the truth. You are not wrong for feeling this way. You are human. You are deeply invested in your desires. You care. And when you care, waiting becomes hard. But what if waiting isn't the problem? What if the real problem is our relationship with time and our need for control? Let me share a story. A man in his mid-30s once told me he had been using the law of attraction to manifest a new job. He wrote down his dream position. He visualized it daily. He even affirmed every morning that he was already in his ideal role. Weeks passed. Then 2 months. No callbacks, no interviews. He became frustrated and started to question the entire process. But here's what happened next. Just when he was about to give up, he received a message from someone he had met at a networking event months ago. That person offered him a position that was not only better than the one he had imagined, but also came with opportunities he never even considered. That opportunity was aligning the entire time. It was just moving on a timeline he couldn't see. The delay wasn't a denial. It was a realignment. And had he given up completely, or let frustration turn into resentment, he might have missed it entirely. This is what impatience does. It tells you that if something isn't happening now, it's not happening at all. It tries to compress the infinite timing of the universe into your personal deadlines. But the law of attraction does not work on pressure. It works on frequency. And frustration lowers that frequency. It shifts you from believing to questioning, from trusting to pushing, from surrender to control. When you feel stuck, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You see others manifesting quickly, achieving goals, celebrating milestones, and you begin to wonder, why not me? But here's something important to remember. Everyone's path is uniquely timed. What is fast for one person might be unstable for another. What appears stuck in your life might actually be building momentum beneath the surface. Think of a seed underground. You water it every day. For a while, nothing changes on the surface. But underneath, roots are forming. The foundation is growing. The structure is taking shape. And when it breaks through the soil, it may seem like sudden growth, but it was never sudden. It was quiet progress, invisible development. Your manifestations often work the same way. The universe is responding to your energy, your consistency, and your readiness, not just your desire. Many people think wanting something badly is enough, but want without alignment is like pressing the gas pedal with no engine. The emotion you carry during the waiting phase is just as important as your clarity about the desire itself. If you wait in desperation, you push it away. If you wait in surrender, you magnetize it closer. Another story. A young woman wanted to manifest love, She made a vision board. She journaled about her future partner. She even started working on her self-worth. But after 6 months of no new connections, she declared it wasn't working and stopped all her practices. What she didn't realize was that during those 6 months, she had been clearing old emotional baggage, healing past wounds, and becoming more open and emotionally available. Just 2 months after she let go of the process, thinking it had failed, she met someone unexpectedly. Not because she gave up, but because she had unknowingly reached a level of inner alignment that made her ready. The journey had been working the entire time, but she almost sabotaged it with frustration. This is what makes impatience so dangerous. It makes you forget that energetic preparation is part of manifestation, that things must align not only outside you, but also inside you. The universe is not punishing you with delay. It is preparing you for sustainability. You do not want temporary success. You want aligned success. That kind of manifestation requires emotional maturity. It requires trust in the unseen. And most of all, it requires you to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. The feeling of being stuck is also often just a shift in perspective. When you believe that nothing is happening, it may be because you're measuring progress only by external results. But what if the most important progress is happening within you? What if the doubt you used to feel has started to quiet down? What if your self-worth has improved? What if you are more grounded, more peaceful, more focused than before? That is progress. That is movement. And the universe sees that. Every time you choose to stay aligned, even when the evidence is missing, you strengthen your signal. Every time you affirm from a place of faith instead of fear, you open the door a little wider. The law of attraction is not broken. You are not broken. The energy is working. But it is not mechanical. It is organic. And like all organic things, it grows best with patience, trust, and consistency. So when you feel stuck, remind yourself, I am not stuck. I am stabilizing. I am not blocked. I am becoming ready. And I am not behind. I am on time for my unique path. You don't need to rush the process. You just need to remain available to it. Let go of the timeline. Reconnect with the energy. And trust that your desires are on the way, not because you chased them, but because you chose to become the person who receives them with peace. The moment you stop fighting the wait is the moment the waiting ends, because that's when you become a match to the very thing you've been asking for. One of the most underestimated but powerful blocks to your manifestation journey is not something inside of you. It is what surrounds you. It's the energy you absorb, the voices you hear daily, the environments you live in, and the screens you scroll through. While the law of attraction teaches us that our inner state creates our outer reality, we must also recognize that our outer environment constantly influences our inner state. And when you are surrounded by negativity, even if you are doing everything right, that energy can slowly chip away at your alignment. Let's begin with the influence of people. You might feel inspired, hopeful, excited about your vision. But then you share your dream with someone close to you, a friend, a family member, a colleague, and instead of encouragement, you receive sarcasm, criticism, or a passive-aggressive smile. They say things like, be realistic, or you're dreaming too big, or that kind of stuff doesn't work. They might even laugh it off as fantasy. At first, you try to ignore it, but if you hear it often enough, it starts to sink in. You begin to question yourself. You start wondering if maybe they're right. Their doubt becomes your doubt. Their fear becomes your hesitation. That is how external negativity works. It rarely attacks you directly. It seeps in quietly, through repetition, through energy, through tone. And suddenly, you're not sure if you believe anymore. Not because something failed, but because someone else's energy contaminated your clarity. This is not about blaming other people. Most of the time, their doubt comes from their own limitations. Maybe they tried something and it didn't work for them. Maybe they've never believed in possibility because they've been conditioned to expect disappointment. They're not trying to hurt you, but that doesn't mean their energy is harmless. You must learn to protect your vision, especially when it's still growing. In the early stages of change, your belief is fragile, and exposing it to the wrong people can shut it down before it has a chance to thrive. There is a story of a man who wanted to leave his job and start a creative business. He told his family, expecting support. Instead, he was told to stay where it was safe, to be grateful, and not risk everything for a pipe dream. He listened. He stayed. Years later, he confessed that the biggest regret of his life was not taking that leap, not because he was afraid, but because he let someone else's fear overpower his own vision. That's the danger of sharing your light with those who cannot see. It dims your fire. Sometimes, the negativity is not even personal. It's environmental. You might be in a workspace filled with gossip, pessimism, and emotional exhaustion. Every day you walk in, your energy feels heavier. You go home drained. Not because your work is hard, but because the emotional frequency around you is low. Or maybe you live with people who argue constantly, who talk down to each other, who mock your attempts to grow. And every time you try to raise your vibration, they pull you back down with complaints, criticism, or chaos. These environments are not neutral. They affect your nervous system, your thoughts, your sleep, your self-esteem. And even if you try to stay positive, that negativity becomes a background noise that makes it harder to stay in alignment. Then there's the constant stream of negativity from the digital world, the news cycle that thrives on fear. The social media posts filled with outrage, drama, comparison, and conflict. Every scroll you make is shaping your subconscious. Every video you watch is reinforcing a worldview. And the more you consume negativity, even passively, the more your vibration begins to mirror it. You start to feel overwhelmed, heavy, anxious, disconnected from your center. You start to believe the world is getting worse, that your dreams are impossible, that people are untrustworthy, all from the energy you absorbed without realizing. The law of attraction responds to your dominant frequency. And if the majority of your energy is influenced by outside negativity, even your best intentions can get clouded. So what can you do about it? First, become conscious of what you consume. Every day, you are feeding your mind. Ask yourself, is this content lifting me up or pulling me down? Be selective about the media you watch, the voices you follow, and the conversations you entertain. You don't need to cut out the world, but you do need to create boundaries that protect your mental clarity. Second, be mindful of who you share your goals with. Not everyone deserves to hear your vision. Not everyone has earned the right to speak into your future. Share with those who support your expansion, who hold space for your growth, who believe in possibility even when it is not yet visible. Third, cultivate a high vibration environment. Play uplifting music. Fill your space with inspiration. Read books that nourish your mind. Watch content that activates your imagination and reminds you of what's possible. Your physical space is an extension of your energetic space. Keep it clear. Keep it intentional. Fourth, when you are around people who drain you, learn to stay in your own energy. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to convince them. Just anchor deeper into your truth. Imagine your energy as a golden light surrounding your body. Visualize it holding your frequency steady, no matter what surrounds you. And finally, remember that you always have a choice. You may not be able to control every environment, but you can choose how often you enter it, how long you stay, and how deeply you let it affect you. Just because something is loud doesn't mean it's true. Just because someone else is cynical doesn't mean you have to join them. The most powerful thing you can do is become so rooted in your inner clarity that no outer negativity can shake you. The law of attraction does not require perfection, but it does require awareness. And the more aware you are of what influences you, the more power you have to shift it. You are not obligated to match the energy of your environment. You are allowed to rise above it. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to create boundaries. You are allowed to protect your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. And when you do, you will find that alignment becomes easier, manifestations flow faster, and your confidence becomes unshakable, not because the world became quieter, but because you became stronger within. That is true power. That is conscious creation. And that is how you rise above the noise. One of the most powerful ways to regulate emotion and maintain a high frequency in alignment with the law of attraction is through mindfulness and meditation. These are not abstract spiritual practices reserved for monks or gurus. They are practical tools for mental clarity, emotional stability, and energetic alignment. When your inner world is unsettled, when thoughts race or emotions fluctuate, mindfulness becomes your anchor. It gives you the ability to observe your thoughts and feelings without being consumed by them. And that is one of the greatest superpowers on the journey of conscious creation. Because if you are constantly reacting, judging, or attaching to every thought or mood, your vibration will shift too often to maintain a steady signal. But when you can witness your internal experience with calm awareness, you create space between stimulus and response. You begin to respond rather than react. You begin to choose your state instead of being pulled by every wave of emotion. That space is where your power lives. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present, fully aware of what is happening right now, without trying to change it or label it as good or bad. It is the art of noticing. Noticing your breath, your sensations, your thoughts, your surroundings, and most importantly, noticing your energy. When you become mindful, you realize that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them. This is crucial for the law of attraction, because your energy is not just affected by what happens outside. It is shaped by how you respond to what happens inside. Let's explore what this actually looks like in practice. Imagine you are feeling anxious. Your mind starts racing with thoughts like, what if I'm behind? Or what if nothing is working? In that moment, instead of spiraling into more overthinking or trying to suppress the emotion, you pause. You take a deep breath, and you say inwardly, I see you, anxiety. You are not me. You are just a visitor. That simple act of observation shifts your energy. It brings you back into the seat of awareness. It reminds your body that you are safe, that you are not in danger, that this is just energy passing through. This is mindfulness in action, and it takes you out of reactivity and back into alignment. Now let's deepen it with a short guided mindfulness meditation you can do anytime you feel off balance. Begin by finding a quiet space. Sit comfortably with your spine upright but relaxed. Gently close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. Feel the air entering through your nose, moving into your lungs and releasing back out. There's no need to change your breath. Just notice it. Let it be natural. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. Allow yourself to arrive fully into this moment. Now begin to scan your body from head to toe. Notice any areas of tension. Bring awareness to your forehead, your jaw, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your hands, your legs, your feet. Simply notice what is there. No judgment. No need to fix anything. Just observe. As you breathe, let any tension soften naturally. Now, bring your attention to your thoughts. You may notice the mind is active. That's okay. Imagine your thoughts like clouds passing across the sky. You do not need to chase them. You do not need to stop them. Just watch them come and go. Every time you notice yourself getting caught in a thought, gently return your attention to your breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale peace. Exhale tension. Now bring your awareness to your emotions. What do you feel right now? Name the emotion if you can. Is it calm? Frustration? Joy? Worry? Sadness? Just name it silently in your mind. And then say inwardly, this feeling is here. And that's okay. You are not pushing it away. You are allowing it to be seen. And through that seeing, it begins to shift. Breathe into the center of your chest. Place your hand over your heart if that helps you connect. With each breath, imagine a warm light filling your chest, calming your nervous system, expanding your presence. Stay here for a few moments in stillness. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. With each breath, you are returning to now, to the present, to your power. Remind yourself gently, I am safe. I am supported. I am centered. Let these words settle into your body. Let this energy guide you back to stability. When you are ready, slowly begin to move your fingers and toes. Wiggle gently. Blink your eyes open. Return fully to the room. Around you, you have just anchored your vibration. You have shifted your state. You have returned to alignment. And this is something you can do anytime, anywhere. The more you practice, the more automatic this regulation becomes. You no longer need to be at the mercy of your moods. You can choose your energy. You can shift your frequency with breath, awareness, and stillness. Meditation is not about escaping reality. It is about returning to your inner clarity. It gives you the power to stay grounded, even when chaos swirls around you. And in terms of the law of attraction, it is one of the most direct ways to realign with your desires, because a calm mind sends a clearer signal. A grounded body holds higher vibration, and an open heart attracts with grace. You do not need to meditate for hours. Even 5 minutes of presence can change the course of your day. What matters is consistency, showing up for your inner world with the same commitment you show to your outer goals. Because when your internal world is steady, the external world begins to respond in kind. You are not here to chase peace. You are here to embody it. You are not here to fight your emotions. You are here to feel them and free them. And you are not here to control everything. You are here to trust in your ability to stay aligned no matter what life presents. That is the gift of mindfulness. That is the strength of meditation. And that is the foundation for lasting alignment with the law of attraction. When emotions build up inside and have nowhere to go, they become blocks in your energy field. Over time, these emotional blocks can weigh down your vibration, creating resistance in your manifestation process. The law of attraction responds not only to your thoughts, but also to your emotional state. That's why emotional release is essential. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine. It's about giving your emotions a healthy outlet so you can return to alignment. One of the most powerful ways to release emotion is through journaling. But this is not the kind of journaling where you try to sound wise or positive. This is raw, uncensored, emotional release. You sit down with a pen and paper and let everything pour out. You write the truth of what you're feeling, no matter how uncomfortable or messy it is. You might start with, I feel angry, or I feel lost, or I don't know what's wrong, but something feels heavy. You keep writing. No editing, no filtering, just release. Let your hand move faster than your mind. Allow the paper to hold your pain, your confusion, your fears, your doubts, your grief. This is emotional detox. The paper becomes your witness, your space of safety. And once you have written everything out, you can take the final step, symbolic release. You can rip the paper up, or if you are in a safe space, you can burn it. Watch the pages turn to ash as a symbol of letting go. This is not just metaphor. Your nervous system receives the signal that the emotion has been acknowledged and released. The energetic charge begins to dissolve, and you feel lighter. You feel free. This practice, done even once a week, can shift your entire emotional state. Another powerful method of emotional release is speaking to someone you trust. You are not meant to carry every feeling alone. Sometimes, the weight you're carrying is not even yours. It's a buildup of expectations, assumptions, and silent burdens that have never been voiced. Find a person in your life who can hold space for you without trying to fix you. It might be a close friend, a coach, a therapist, or a mentor. The key is to find someone who listens without judgment, who doesn't interrupt you with advice, who doesn't make it about them. Someone who simply holds presence while you express. Speaking your truth out loud is healing. Words carry energy. And when you say what you've been afraid to say, when you share what you've buried for too long, the emotion begins to lose its grip. You take back your power by allowing yourself to be seen and heard. This connection dissolves shame. It restores self-worth. It reminds you that you are human and that your feelings are valid. Sometimes, all you need is for someone to look at you and say, "I understand," or "That makes sense," or "You're not alone." That level of safety unlocks healing. But even if you don't have someone to speak to yet, you can start by recording a voice note to yourself. Talk as if you are speaking to a trusted friend. Let the words out. Let the tears come if they need to. Your body and spirit will thank you for the release. And finally, one of the most primal and immediate ways to release stuck emotion is through movement. Emotion is energy in motion, and when it stays trapped in the body, it creates tension, fatigue, and disconnection. But when you move, you allow that energy to flow. It doesn't have to be a structured workout. It can be dancing in your room. It can be taking a brisk walk around your neighborhood. It can be shaking your hands, rolling your shoulders, jumping in place, or stretching your spine. The point is not what you do. It's that you move, that you breathe, that you activate your physical body so the emotional energy has somewhere to go. There is a story of a woman who used to feel overwhelmed every time she sat down to manifest. Her mind would spiral. Her heart would race. She couldn't focus. One day, she decided to stop everything and just move. She put on music and started dancing with no rhythm, no rules. She moved until her mind stopped spinning. She moved until her breath came back. She moved until the tears came. And when she sat down afterward to visualize, everything felt clearer. That is the power of movement. It brings you back to the present. It releases what the mind cannot explain. Your body knows how to process emotion, but it needs permission. It needs expression. And when you give it that outlet, your energy resets. Your vibration rises. Your alignment returns. The law of attraction does not require you to feel good all the time, but it does require that you process what you feel so you don't carry emotional static. These three tools, journaling, safe conversation, and movement, are the foundation of emotional self-care. They help you stay clear. They help you stay honest. They help you move forward, even when life feels heavy. And most importantly, they help you regulate from within instead of waiting for the world to change. When you create space for your emotions to move, you create space for new manifestations to enter. Because the universe is not just responding to what you ask, it is responding to how open you are to receive. And when you are emotionally blocked, even the clearest intentions can be delayed. So don't fear your feelings. Don't suppress your truth. Don't pretend to be okay if you're not. Feel it, release it, and then rise. This is emotional alignment. This is energetic mastery. And this is how you free your vibration to flow with the current of what you truly desire. You are not meant to carry it all. You are meant to feel, to release, and to grow. That is the path of transformation. That is emotional liberation. And that is how you make space for the life you're calling in. Setting healthy boundaries is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect, and it is essential for maintaining the energetic clarity required for the law of attraction to work effectively. Without boundaries, your energy becomes scattered, depleted, and influenced by forces outside your control. But with clear, conscious boundaries, you protect your vibration, preserve your focus, and stay rooted in your personal power. Many people misunderstand boundaries. They think it means cutting people off or building walls. But real boundaries are not about separation. They are about alignment. They are the invisible guidelines that tell the world how you choose to be treated, what you will allow into your space, and what energy you are available for. One of the most important reasons to set boundaries is to protect your energy from negativity. Whether it comes from people, situations, conversations, or media, negativity is contagious. It spreads through attention. What you give your energy to grows. If you allow yourself to be pulled into gossip, drama, or constant complaining, you start to mirror that energy. Even if your intentions are good, your frequency is affected. And when your frequency drops, your manifestations slow down. The law of attraction matches your state. So guarding your state is a sacred responsibility. Begin by identifying what drains you. Are there certain people who leave you feeling heavy every time you interact with them? Are there conversations that feel like emotional quicksand? Are there environments that pull you out of alignment, no matter how grounded you try to be? Pay attention to how you feel during and after these experiences. Your emotional reaction is feedback. It tells you what supports your energy and what sabotages it. Once you're aware, the next step is to make a decision. You may not be able to remove every negative person or situation from your life, but you can create distance. You can reduce exposure. You can change the terms of engagement. And most importantly, you can learn to say no. Saying no is not rude. It is honest. It is a declaration that your energy matters, that your time is valuable, that your mental health is a priority. Saying no might sound like, "I'm not available for that today," or "I need some time to recharge," or simply, "No, thank you." You do not need to over-explain. You do not need to justify your peace. Every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what fuels you. This includes your relationship with digital content. One of the biggest energy leaks in modern life is unconscious scrolling. You wake up and check the news. Another crisis, another opinion, another reason to feel anxious. Then you open social media, endless comparisons, conflict in the comments, fear-based headlines. Without even realizing it, your frequency starts to drop. Not because your life is bad, but because your focus has been hijacked. The law of attraction does not respond to what you want once a day. It responds to what you feel and focus on consistently. And if most of your input is negative, your output becomes reactive. That's why one of the most loving boundaries you can create is with your screen. Start by limiting your exposure to the news. You do not need to be constantly updated to be informed. Choose one time per day to check if necessary and set a timer. After that, let it go. Reclaim your mind. Next, clean up your social media feed. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inferior, angry, or drained. Mute the noise. Curate your space with intention. Follow people who inspire you, who remind you of your potential, who lift your vibration. This is not about avoiding the world. It's about choosing your world, and that choice is always yours. Another powerful boundary is the boundary of silence. You do not need to respond to every message immediately. You do not need to explain your growth to those who do not understand it. You do not owe your presence to people who take it for granted. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is step back, breathe, and return when you are aligned. Boundaries are not about control. They are about clarity. When you set them, you give others the opportunity to rise or fall away. Both are gifts. Those who respect your boundaries reveal themselves as allies to your growth. Those who resist them reveal where your energy was being misused. Either way, you gain power. You gain focus. You gain freedom. One story comes to mind of a woman who used to take every phone call, answer every text, and agree to every request out of guilt. She was exhausted. She was doing daily affirmations, visualizing abundance, but nothing was changing. Why? Because her energy was constantly being drained by the demands of others. When she finally started saying no, when she blocked time for herself, when she stopped explaining her choices, everything began to shift. Her energy came back, her clarity returned, and within weeks, new opportunities started flowing in. Not because she did more, but because she protected her frequency. That is the power of boundaries. They create space for alignment. They eliminate distraction. They invite higher-level experiences. If you want to manifest intentionally with the law of attraction, you must become intentional with your boundaries. You must stop leaking your energy into things that do not serve your vision. You must stop people-pleasing out of fear of rejection. You must stop saying yes when your soul is saying no. This is how you become magnetic, not by doing more, but by being more selective, more clear, more devoted to your peace. Let this be your permission to set boundaries that feel bold, that feel honest, that feel aligned. Your energy is sacred. Treat it like currency. Invest it where it returns. Withdraw it where it depletes. And watch how quickly your reality begins to reflect your new standard. The law of attraction responds to what you tolerate. Raise your standard, protect your field, and embody the energy of someone who honors their alignment above all. That is not selfish. That is wise. That is powerful. And that is how you stay in vibration with the future you are calling in. When the path feels long and the results seem distant, one of the most powerful ways to realign your energy is by reconnecting with your purpose. There was a reason you began this journey with the law of attraction. There was a spark, a calling, a vision that lit something inside of you. Maybe it was the desire for more freedom, more peace, more abundance, or simply a deeper sense of who you truly are. Whatever your reason was, it mattered then, and it still matters now. But in the middle of the process, it's easy to forget. You get caught in the how. You get distracted by the when. You focus so much on what hasn't shown up that you forget why you started in the first place. That's when alignment begins to fade. That's when the vibration lowers. That's when you begin to doubt. So in those moments, you must pause and return to your why. Your why is your anchor. Your why is your fuel. It reminds you that this journey is not just about manifesting things. It's about becoming the version of you who lives in truth, alignment, and purpose. When you remember your why, the waiting feels lighter. The effort feels meaningful. The practice becomes sacred. Take a moment to ask yourself, why did I start practicing the law of attraction? Be honest. Was it to heal from something? Was it to rise above limitation? Was it to finally feel free to be yourself? Your reason is personal. It doesn't need to impress anyone. It only needs to ignite you. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Hold it close. This simple act of remembering your purpose reawakens the emotional energy that fuels manifestation. It brings your vibration back to intention. And from that place, you begin to move again, not from fear or frustration, but from alignment. One of the best tools to support this reconnection is your vision board. Your vision board is not just a collage of images. It is a physical representation of your inner world. It is a mirror of your desires, your values, and your direction. When you created it, you were in a high state of possibility. You chose those images, those words, those colors, because they resonated with your future self. And that resonance still lives inside you. When life feels unclear, go back to your board. Look at each image and ask yourself, why did I choose this? Let the feelings resurface. Let the dreams reawaken. Let the energy of that future start flowing through your body again. Close your eyes. See yourself living it, not someday, but now. Feel it as real. That is how you return to alignment. Not through force, through feeling. The law of attraction does not respond to time. It responds to frequency. And when you embody the frequency of your original purpose, you become a match to the reality it creates. If you do not have a vision board, you can create one. Or you can revisit your affirmations. Your affirmations are declarations of your truth. They are reminders of who you are becoming. But more than words, they are emotional signals. The key is not to repeat them mechanically. It is to speak them with presence, with energy, with belief. You can choose one or two affirmations that reflect your deeper purpose and say them each morning and night. Let the repetition guide your focus. Let the energy of the words reshape your identity. For example, if your purpose is to feel free and authentic, you might say, I am fully aligned with my true self. I express my truth with confidence and peace. Or if your purpose is to create a life of abundance, you might say, I am a magnet for prosperity, and I welcome every blessing. With gratitude, these affirmations are not just for the mind. They are for the body, the breath, the vibration you carry. The more you connect to them emotionally, the more real they become in your energy field. Another powerful way to reconnect with your purpose is to visualize your journey. Reflect on how far you've come, the moments when you trusted yourself, the breakthroughs you've had, the times when you listened to your inner guidance and it led to something good. Let that evidence become your encouragement. You are not starting over. You are evolving. You are refining. You are stepping deeper into alignment. Reconnection is not about going backward. It is about returning inward. It is about remembering that your journey is not measured by how fast you manifest, but by how fully you align. When you reconnect with your why, you start to see the signs again. The synchronicities return. The clarity returns. And your energy becomes magnetic once more. You stop chasing outcomes. You start embodying intentions. You stop needing proof. You start walking in faith. The law of attraction responds to this energy. It responds to the vibration of purpose. Because when you are clear about why you want something and who you become in the process of moving toward it, your frequency stabilizes. You no longer get thrown off by delay or doubt. You simply return to your center. That center is purpose. That center is your truth. That center is your inner yes. So if you feel lost, overwhelmed, or disconnected, come back to your reason. Whisper it to yourself. Write it in your journal. Sing it if you need to. Paint it. Meditate on it. Let it infuse your day. Your purpose is your home frequency. And when you live in that frequency, everything else aligns. Your vision board starts to feel real again. Your affirmations begin to click. Your steps feel guided. And the next right action reveals itself without force. Remember, this journey is not just about creating a better life. It's about remembering that you are already whole, already worthy, already connected to something greater. That truth lives in your why. And the more you honor it, the more your life begins to reflect it. You did not come this far just to stop. You came here to return, to remember, to realign, and from that place, to rise. That is the power of reconnecting with purpose. That is the reset your energy needs. And that is the portal through which the future you desire begins to unfold. Let this be the moment you return to your why. Let this be the breath that grounds you. Let this be the light that carries you forward. You are ready. You always were. There will be days when everything flows. Days when you feel inspired, aligned, and fully connected to your vision. And then there will be days when none of that seems to work. Days when your energy dips. Days when you feel tired, confused, or emotionally overwhelmed. This is not failure. This is part of the process. One of the greatest misconceptions about the law of attraction is the idea that you have to feel positive all the time in order to manifest what you desire. But that belief creates pressure. It creates shame, and it leads to suppression, not alignment. The truth is, no one is positive 100% of the time. Not even the most enlightened teacher, the most successful creator, or the most disciplined spiritual seeker. Everyone has off days. Everyone has moments of doubt, sadness, frustration, or fear. What separates those who thrive is not their ability to avoid these emotions, but their willingness to feel them without judgment, and then let them pass. Emotional intelligence is not about being in a perfect state. It is about being honest with yourself when you are not. It is about recognizing when something feels heavy and giving yourself permission to feel it without labeling it as wrong. When you allow yourself to feel, you release resistance. When you try to force positivity, you create internal conflict. Your energy splits. Your mind says one thing while your heart says another, and that incoherence delays your alignment. The law of attraction responds most clearly when your inner world is congruent, when your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in harmony. So on the days when your energy dips, the most powerful thing you can do is give yourself grace. Remind yourself that bad days do not mean you are moving backward. They mean you are human. You are evolving. And part of evolution includes contrast. Contrast teaches clarity. It helps you define what you truly want by showing you what does not resonate. But that clarity only comes when you stop resisting the contrast and start receiving the lesson. For example, imagine waking up and feeling completely unmotivated. Your body feels heavy. Your thoughts feel foggy. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone to distract yourself or forcing yourself to pretend everything is fine, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself gently, what am I feeling right now? Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's disappointment. Maybe it's fear. Whatever it is, let it rise. Let it speak. You might say to yourself, right now, I feel stuck. I feel like nothing is moving. And then breathe into that truth. Place your hand on your heart. Let yourself be with the feeling, without trying to fix it right away. This is what it means to hold space for yourself. To sit in your emotional weather without trying to rush to sunshine. Because here is the secret. Emotions, when fully felt, naturally move. They do not stay forever. They pass through like clouds when you do not cling to them or push them away. When you allow the emotion, you create movement. When you resist the emotion, you create tension. And tension is what holds you out of alignment. This is why emotional release and acceptance are so crucial to sustaining your energy in the law of attraction journey. There is a common phrase that says, you have to feel it to heal it. And it is true. The more you allow, the more you release. The more you release, the more you reset. On the days when you feel off, give yourself permission to rest, to unplug, to cry, to write, to speak. to walk in silence. Do whatever allows your energy to breathe again. Do not treat emotional waves as something to escape. Treat them as something sacred. They are part of your navigation system. They guide you inward. They bring you closer to yourself. And often, the biggest breakthroughs come after the lowest dips. Because those dips soften the ego. They bring you back to humility, to presence, to vulnerability. And in that state, you become receptive again. The law of attraction flows best through a heart that is open, not perfect. Through a mind that is willing, not rigid. Through a spirit that is present, not pretending. So do not measure your progress by how positive you feel every day. Measure it by how quickly you return to alignment after you fall. That bounce back rate is your true power. That is the sign of growth. That is the sign of strength. When you can say, "Today was hard, but I gave myself space. I honored what I felt. And now I'm choosing to reset," you are practicing real mastery. This is not about bypassing emotions. This is about moving through them. You are not meant to be in high energy every hour. You are meant to become aware when your energy drops and learn how to support yourself through it. That support may look like gentle affirmations. It may look like quiet time. It may look like reaching out to someone you trust. Or it may look like silence and stillness. Whatever it is, let it be rooted in compassion. Be gentle with yourself. This is a long-term journey, and there will be ups and downs. But each time you move through the down with awareness instead of fear, you reclaim your power. You show yourself that you can handle your emotional weather. You show the universe that you trust yourself, even in the contrast. And that trust is magnetic. That trust brings you back to your center. So the next time you have a bad day, remember that it does not cancel your progress. It does not undo your intentions. It does not make you unworthy. It is simply a pause, a signal, an invitation to come back to presence. And when you return, do it gently. Do it with love, because that love becomes your alignment. That alignment becomes your frequency, and that frequency becomes your magnet. This is the truth behind emotional resilience. This is how you stay consistent with the law of attraction, not by forcing positivity, but by honoring your humanity and choosing to rise from it with grace. There will be days when everything feels off. You might miss your morning routine. You might forget to say your affirmations. You might skip meditation. Your vision board might gather a little dust. Your journal might stay closed. And your energy might feel distant from everything you were so committed to. This is not failure. This is being human. The real test is not whether you fall out of rhythm. It is how quickly and how gently you return. The day after a setback is the most important day, because that is the day you make a decision. Do you give up, or do you recommit? Do you let one hard moment define your journey, or do you choose to step back into alignment with grace? The most powerful choice you can make is to come back to your practice, to come back to your breath, to come back to your intention, not because you have to, not because you feel guilty, but because you remember why it matters. Your practice is not a punishment. It is not a task to check off. It is a sacred agreement between you and your future self. It is the container that holds your energy, your focus, your growth. And when you return to it, even after a messy day, you remind yourself that you are committed to your path, not to perfection. Consistency matters more than perfection. Small steps taken daily carry more power than intense bursts followed by long gaps. You do not need to be perfect every single day. You only need to be consistent over time, because consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds identity, and identity shapes energy, and energy shapes reality. This is the architecture of the law of attraction. The moment you choose to show up again, the universe responds. The vibration shifts. The signal gets clearer. Even if your practice feels mechanical at first, even if your heart is not fully in it, your willingness still carries power. Your intention still sends a signal. You might light a candle and sit in silence. You might say a short affirmation. You might write a single sentence in your journal. You might visualize for just 3 minutes. It does not need to be long. It does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be done with presence. That presence is the reset. That presence is the signal that says, I'm still here. I still believe. I still choose alignment. Think of your practice like a relationship with yourself, with your energy, with the future you are creating. You would not abandon someone you love because they had a bad day. You would offer them space, patience, understanding, and then you would reconnect. Treat your practice with that same compassion, that same grace. Your energy will not always be at 100%. Some days it will be 50. Some days it will be 10. But even on those days, you can still show up. And the act of showing up becomes the healing. The act of returning becomes the transformation. When you come back to your practice, you reclaim your power. You take your attention away from what went wrong and place it back on what feels right. That shift in attention creates a shift in vibration, and the law of attraction responds immediately. The universe does not require perfection. It requires presence. It requires your willingness to begin again and again, without judgment, without shame, just with devotion. Real alignment is not about never falling. It is about always rising, always coming back, always remembering. Because each time you return to your practice, it becomes easier to access. It becomes more familiar, more natural, more embodied. And soon, your practice is not something you do. It becomes who you are. You are someone who shows up, who stays connected, who values growth more than comfort, who chooses alignment even after misalignment. That identity is magnetic. That consistency builds trust between you and the universe. It says, I am ready. I am available. I am steady. And that steadiness becomes the ground upon which your desires take root. One story that illustrates this is of a man who used to meditate daily, journal at sunrise, and repeat affirmations before work. Then life got busy. Deadlines piled up. Family issues emerged. He stopped everything. A week passed, then 2. He started to feel ungrounded, reactive, anxious. But instead of criticizing himself, he made a decision. He woke up one morning and simply lit a candle, sat in silence for 5 minutes, wrote a few words of gratitude, and that was it. That day felt lighter. So he did it again the next day, and again. His full routine eventually returned. But more importantly, his connection to himself was restored. That is the power of recommitting. It is not dramatic. It is not loud. It is steady. It is faithful. It is a quiet declaration that says, I trust this path. I trust myself. I trust the energy I am cultivating. And from that energy, all things become possible. Let this be your reminder. You are allowed to have off days, but never let one off day become the reason you quit. Use it as the reason you come back stronger, softer, clearer. Your consistency is your compass. It will lead you home every single time. So if yesterday felt heavy, make today your return. Return to your breath. Return to your intention. Return to your vision. Return to your alignment. You are not starting over. You are simply continuing. And that continuation is what shapes your reality. That is the real secret of the law of attraction. Not perfection, not performance, but presence. Steady, honest, loving presence. That is enough. And you are enough. right here, right now. As you recommit, you are never meant to walk this journey alone. The law of attraction is a deeply personal path, but that does not mean it has to be a solitary one. In fact, one of the most powerful accelerators of your growth is surrounding yourself with people who reflect the energy you want to live in. People who remind you of your potential when you forget. People who speak the language of alignment, vision, and conscious creation. Support is not weakness. Support is wisdom. It is recognizing that energy is contagious, and the right environment can lift you, guide you, and help you stay consistent when your motivation fades. Sometimes, all it takes is one conversation to shift your entire vibration. One message from someone who understands this path. One shared story that reminds you you are not the only one navigating resistance, doubt, or emotional waves. That is why joining a law of attraction community can be so powerful. Whether it's an online group, a local gathering, or a virtual space where others are also practicing intentional living, being part of a community creates resonance. It gives you a safe place to express what you're learning, what you're struggling with, and what you're manifesting. It offers mirrors. It offers perspective. And it often offers new tools you hadn't thought of before. In community, you see that everyone is in a different stage of their journey. Some are just beginning. Some are in the middle of a breakthrough. Some are rebuilding after setbacks. And seeing that range reminds you that your path is valid. No matter where you are on it, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. In a strong law of attraction community, celebration is normal. Gratitude is expected. Alignment is valued. And encouragement is constant. When your frequency is supported by the collective energy of others who are also rising, you naturally rise too. And this support is especially important during the moments when your personal energy feels low, because in those moments, you can borrow belief, you can borrow momentum, you can lean into the collective strength until your own alignment returns. If community feels too large or overwhelming, start with one person, one accountability partner, one friend who understands energy work, someone you can check in with weekly, someone who will gently ask if you've been staying aligned with your intentions, your practices, your goals. This person is not there to judge you. They are there to witness you, to hold space, to reflect your light when you can't fully see it. Choose someone who values growth, someone who believes in emotional honesty, someone who also wants to live with intention. This connection can become a powerful mirror. It brings structure to your journey. It turns your private practice into a shared experience. And that shared experience can fuel consistency, clarity, and deeper transformation. In some cases, it might be time to work with a coach. A good coach does not give you answers. A good coach helps you remember your own. They hold you accountable to your highest self. They reflect your blind spots with compassion. They guide you through blocks with skill and structure. And most importantly, they walk with you until you reach the other side. Working with a coach is not about dependency. It is about acceleration. It is about investing in the fastest path to clarity and consistency. If you find yourself stuck in patterns you can't break alone, repeating the same emotional loops, or feeling disconnected from your own inner guidance, a coach can help you reset and refocus. The law of attraction responds to clarity. And a coach can help you see clearly when your own emotions or self-doubt cloud your vision. They offer perspective, they offer practices, and they offer presence. Sometimes, having someone believe in your power before you fully do is the exact spark you need to shift your entire frequency. If coaching is not accessible for you right now, do not worry. Start with community. Start with one conversation. Start with one shared practice. Start where you are. What matters is that you remember you are not meant to do this alone. You are not designed to carry the full weight of healing, manifesting, and expanding without reflection, feedback, or connection. Every person who has reached a level of deep alignment has been supported at some point by a mentor, by a guide, by a circle, by a friend. It is not weak to seek support. It is intelligent. It is intuitive. It is how energy flows best. When energy is shared, it amplifies. When wisdom is shared, it deepens. When alignment is shared, it becomes more stable. Think of nature. Trees do not grow in isolation. They grow. In forests, their roots interconnected beneath the soil, sharing resources, supporting one another in ways science is only beginning to understand. You are the same. You grow stronger when you are rooted in community, when your energy connects. With others who uplift rather than drain, you begin to thrive. And your manifestations begin to speed up because you are no longer moving alone. You are carried by the current of collective alignment. Let this be your invitation to reach out, to find your people, to build your circle, to ask for help when you need it. There is strength in that. There is beauty in that. And there is growth in that. Whether it's one trusted friend, a group of aligned souls, or a mentor who sees your greatness, support is sacred. It holds you steady when you shake. It reminds you of who you are when you forget. And it carries your vision when your hands feel too tired to hold it alone. You are not alone. You were never alone. And the moment you open yourself to support, the universe begins to match that openness with people, places, and experiences that help you rise. Let them in. Let the support be part of your practice. Let connection become your amplifier. The law of attraction is always working. And when you align with others who believe that too, your frequency becomes unstoppable. Together, you rise faster. Together, you remember more deeply. And together, you manifest a life that reflects the fullness of who you truly are. You've just taken a powerful step in understanding how to overcome the mental blocks that often hold you back. These internal barriers, self-doubt, fear, impatience, and outside negativity, are not signs of failure. They are invitations to grow. They are part of your journey, not the end of it. And the key to transforming them is emotional awareness, consistency, and resilience. Because at the heart of the law of attraction is your energy. And when you protect, nurture, and realign that energy, everything begins to shift. The path gets clearer. The signals become stronger. And your reality starts to match the vibration of your truest intentions. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about choosing to show up, even when things feel heavy. It's about believing that you are allowed to pause, reflect, and then recommit. You are stronger than your doubts. You are more powerful than your fear. And you are always one decision away from realignment. The truth is, you are far more resilient than you give yourself credit for. Every time you come back to your center, every time you choose peace over panic, clarity over confusion, faith over fear, you prove that strength to yourself. This is what will sustain you, not just on the good days, but especially on the hard ones. Now that you've learned how to regulate your emotions and protect your frequency, you're ready for the next chapter. Because beyond mastering your inner energy lies an even deeper gift, the power to use the law of attraction, not just to manifest things, but to live a life of meaning, fulfillment, and purpose. So here's your next step. Watch our next video, Law of Attraction for a Meaningful Life, Discovering Purpose and Happiness. In it, we'll explore how your desires connect with your deeper calling, how fulfillment goes beyond material goals, and how to attract a life that truly lights you up from the inside. This is where everything starts to come together. This is where manifestation meets meaning, and you won't want to miss it. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What has been the biggest mental block in your own law of attraction journey? and how have you overcome it? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might be the spark someone else needs. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. That way, you'll always stay connected to powerful tools, deep insights, and a growing community of like-minded creators just like you. You're not alone. You're on the path, and your energy is rising. Let's keep going together.